Hey, my antisocial butterflies. Today with me, I have an old but true friend, Jimmy Craig. What's up, man? How are you?
Good. How are you, Katie?
Good, good. Who's
We're gonna pretend that we didn't just catch up for a half hour.
I'm like, you guys, I don't even know who this person is. This is the first time I'm ever meeting him. Who is this little feline that was just sitting on your lap?
This is Salem. It's like the most generic name for a black cat, but we got her in Salem, Massachusetts on Friday the 13th on June 6th, 1966. Just kidding. But no, we did get her from Salem, Massachusetts.
Dude, why didn't you legally change your name to Sabrina at this point? I'm
she's
like,
um
I'm mad about it.
she's super needy, so she's probably gonna be like purring in my lap the whole time.
It's all right. She can take over this conversation. I'm cool with it. She might have some good things to share with us.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
like her hair.
Jimmy Dean with the baked beans commercial and the talking dog. Like that's gonna be her essentially. She's gonna like spill all your family secrets.
That's bushed baked beans.
Oh my god, it is. Thank you for the correction because I knew as I
Before
was
you
saying
go
it.
out and try to get a sponsorship from a baked bean company.
Imagine, but dude, I knew as it was coming out, I was like, that's not right. But I have to like just go
This
with
is
it. Jimmy
Katie
Dean
with
is
the
like
antisocial
sausages.
socialite, brought to you by bushed baked beans.
Imagine what the most awkward partnership in all of America. And I would
That'd be
fully
amazing.
embrace it. That's so awesome. So Jimmy and I have known each other literally since 2003. So we are old now.
Yeah.
We actually met as infants, so I should say, because yeah. But dude, we've known each other for a long ass time. I'm so happy
Yeah.
to be able to catch up with you because you've been busy. We were just talking off camera. I haven't seen him for probably 5 years now. Life got in the way, COVID got in the way. So I'm super excited to like hear what he has to say, what he's been working on, all that fun stuff. So without further ado, Jimmy, take it away. Give us a little bio about you. What should we know about you?
So since you and I first met, at that time I was doing really bad videos. Bad as in like amateur. Not that that's changed that much, but I was always trying to do like, sketch comedy, funny videos. As you know, like filming them in college, with friends and stuff. And towards the end of college, that turned a little more serious as far as making a YouTube channel, and then had some videos go viral, and then that um, eventually led to doing a pilot for MTV, and like network pitches and stuff, and basically turning the YouTube content into a television show, and that doing branded deals and stuff. That was a big portion of my life, like post college. And then I still like do work in that space where my friend Justin and I, who still do pitches for pilots and stuff. We have some animated projects that we're currently shopping, and they're awesome. Like they're like we have two really big projects specifically that we're really proud of that are currently like making the run, getting it out there. And currently I also work for Illumination. I am a story artist there, work remotely, thankfully, as does everyone else right now.
Because you're in Bora Bora right now, right?
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
I wish. But I worked on Secret Life of Pets 2 for them, and now I'm working on a new unannounced movie. And basically, I write jokes for them, and I do punch ups or gag writing. And I've been doing that, which is awesome. I love it. It's super fun. And I also do comics. So I have my own comic series called They Can Talk. That's actually how I got the gig at Illumination, was from the exposure through the comic. And that's been going great.
That's
I love
amazing.
doing it, and it's grown like crazy, like beyond what I could possibly imagined. So yeah, that's a really brief history of what I've been up to.
I love it. And the interview's over. No, I'm just kidding. That it. No, I'm just kidding. No, and I honestly, you're gonna think it like whatever, because I'm like total like FBI Facebook investigator. No, but it was on Instagram, but I was just like scrolling through the other day on your personal Instagram where you had posted something in 2017 that literally is like, hey, I just started, they can talk page. And at that point it had 1,100 followers. And as of today, as we're recording this, you have over 534,000 followers. That's huge. Like when you talk about like exploding and not even expecting where it's going to go, that's massive. Just because you are like funny online and you're like, hey, I'm going to do this comic, know? It's just, did you expect your life to go like this?
I have never been able to even slightly guess where my life is going. I've had so many weird jobs between like now and school that it's really hard to draw like a straight line from like where I've been to where I am now. But it's always been trying to do something in a creative field and then just seeing what works. And, doing video stuff, doing, comics, doing illustration stuff. It's always just been like, how can I get an idea out and share it with people without relying on other people? So the fact that I've been able to do that is just like putting a lot of things out there, seeing what works and then running with that. And the comic specifically, like I still only do one a week. It's like very little commitment, but I've been consistent with it. And it worked, I guess. It was pretty clear, like right when I started it, that like people were into it. So I just stuck with it and it's grown like crazy. And again, that's the comic like has led to a lot of other opportunities. I think that's the main benefit of it. Aside from the fact I like doing it, but just the exposure that I get from it leads to a lot of other opportunities.
Right. And I think the key word consistency. I mean, this is something that you're like, hey, I'm just going to start it. And it's led to so many other avenues and opportunities that you're like, I wouldn't have had these maybe otherwise, or they would have been presented differently had I not been doing this comic. So it's just amazing that, you have different elements of being in a creative space, from the videos to the comics to behind the scenes to joke writing. Like, dude, you're the driest sense of humor dude I know, but it's so funny. And I'm just like, just the way that you present things, I love it. So it's just nice to see you actually thriving in this space, because I remember in college you doing your videos and all this stuff, and it's like all these years later you're like, because what was your major? I forget.
Communications.
It was, yeah. You and I both. Yeah, you and I both.
I was like who else? It was like me, Terrence, Pat. It was just like the most BS major possible.
Yeah, because I think Terrence was literature, but you, me, and Pat were the communication side. But I agree with you.
But I like specifically from college, I think that the best part I took from it, because I started fine arts like freshman year, and I quickly switched from that to focus more on writing. And I think that the best thing college did for me, did you see my cat just walk by?
Yeah.
It looks so ominous. I'm like, I don't even have a cat. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm like, I don't have a dog either. His name is Henry. He's also going to just sit on my lap for the duration of the interview.
Nice.
He was a J. Crew prop. Remember when I worked at J. Crew for a million years? And he's moved from house to house with me. So he's my guard dog. No, they were like done with the props, and they were like, they had this one, which is like a Madras print, and then they had a tartan print, which Christmas. I was like, I want Madras, Henry. I don't know what that is, but that's and he's been with me for solid 12 years, I'd say now.
Nice.
Yeah, hopefully he won't kick the bucket soon. I mean, he's getting up there in age, but whatever. But yeah, so to go back to your major, so you were like, I like fine arts, but not for me for majoring.
Yeah, not for like basically what I did was I like pursued video production like through all of my internships, like all through college. I got all of my production experience, and like college was mainly like what I got out of it was like really humbling experience for writing, because I always thought I was like one of the smarter people in every class, and that like college I could kind of kick back a little bit. But then I remember like a couple of writing courses where I was like, oh, I'm not very good at this, and I want to be. So
So how can I do better?
yeah, so I think that whole, and I think the biggest thing for me is like making a lot of garbage has helped me make better things. So even with the comics, like, started making, I think even with They Can Talk, like they've evolved so much for the better, I think. But I think that's just kind of everything creatively I've done where just kind of change the process, but also I think have been able to make better things because I made worse things.
Absolutely. Well, and I think the beautiful part of it is not that you're necessarily intending to master a creative space, but just doing the comic and just having it naturally evolve where new
Totally.
characters are added or the way that you're
That's a great
drawing
way
it
to
is
put it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and that's the beautiful part is I would never say any of your past works are garbage, right? But
It's
in
okay.
the way that you've been able to like really gain expertise in that area, I feel like now you look at your current work and you're like, oh my God, like leaps and bounds better, but I think the humor's always been there. You truly as a person have been able to like give quality work no matter where you are in your,
Nice.
like it's always true to you, like true to your DNA,
No, like
not
you
necessarily.
said that I've like my sense of humor has been able to come through it. Like I have a dry sense of humor, and I think that the comic is like just a perfect outlet for that. But yeah, it's just I think anything, and same thing with what you're doing. It's like it's just satisfying to make something and have it be done. Even if you evolve that thing live in front of people, great. Like you said, like the comic, I changed it as I was doing it. But again, I think the satisfaction is just from doing it and finishing something.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is great. Now, what was like the moment, and it could even been before college, but like what was that moment that you're like, oh, I want to explore creativity? Like, did you have something that kind of triggered you or an inspiration that got you into this? Or were you just like, hey, I'm just hanging out with my friends and we're just going to start making videos?
Like I mean, even through college, I still hung out with all my friends from home, even
Yeah.
all through college. And like we were making videos before college, and it's just something I wanted to do. And then I think I really wanted to make music videos, like probably the beginning of college, where I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a music video director. And then, yeah, then that kind of got me into production, and also like Jackass type videos. I was like, yeah, you can make a living off of this, right? Like making Jackass videos. So
You
this what
haven't,
was cool was this
just for
is
the
like
record,
early YouTube days.
yeah, just for the record, you have not pierced your butt cheeks, right? Like they do on
I'm not,
Jackass.
no.
Okay, I just want to confirm
My
for my
nipple
viewers.
so stupid too.
I was like, ow, that would really hurt. Um, no, and just to like speak briefly about your friends at home, like you've always had such a solid crew because I
Yeah.
remember them coming to visit on campus. And when you had come back from studying overseas and there, we had the bonfire and all the stuff, like you've always had like such super supportive, close-knit friends. And that's what I've always loved about it because I feel like
Yeah,
you have.
and we still all hang out. I've been able to like exploit my group of friends to help me make videos for decades now.
I love
But no, yeah,
exploiting your loved ones. You're
I'm
like,
like
you do.
mega towny. I like moved back to my hometown, and most of my friends are in the area. The ones that aren't still come up to hang out, once a month. No, I've been really lucky in that sense.
Yeah, but you're not like a weirdo townie that's like never gonna leave.
Yeah. Oh, who
You
knows? I mean, it just happened. It just again can't predict things. Sometimes they just happen.
right. Which and your hometown again is Bora Bora, like I
Yeah,
just mentioned earlier. No,
exactly.
but I feel like you come from a good hometown, like good space, good community. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to be there? And it's nice that you still have ability to thrive and be the person you want to be wherever you are. And it's
Yeah.
it's just a nice space to be. Um So I want to talk about like some previous projects you may have worked on. I just want to know because I've been following you for a while. Like, what has been your favorite project that you've worked on thus far?
Hmm.
that
Uh,
we can divulge because there are
oh,
contracts and
oh,
confidentiality.
um, like Justin and I have made sketch videos for a long time, and early on, it was super fun because we were doing whatever we wanted, posting them online, and like we were getting really good response. And then like as we started to get more and more traction, I think that it was still fun, obviously, to work together, but I think our ideas, like we kind of got in our own heads. And then like the bigger the projects got, it was I guess it complicated things a little bit. And ultimately, like our pilot didn't get picked up, but it served its purpose where we had the opportunity to pitch ideas now to, several networks. And that was always the goal. I would say the like sweet spot of when like doing videos was super fun was like right before it got really successful, and after we were like when we were able to like dedicate more time to it. This is super vague, but
No, it's fine. Yeah.
it,
I'm like, it's just,
yeah.
it's nice to know the process.
But now we're like we have two animated projects that I love. They're like again, the whole journey of us making content together has just I think made us be more like deliberate about what we're making. Like who's the audience, who are the recurring characters, what's the story, all this specific stuff that I think has helped us make really good content. And I think that one of these projects will get picked up, at some point. It's a slow process, but yeah, over the whole arc of making stuff, I think that I'm really proud of these two animated projects we have, and also They Can Talk. I'm really proud of too. Like it's again, it's just been really fulfilling, and it's surpassed my expectations as far as like how big the audience is and the opportunities that it's led to. And yeah, it's crazy. Like I sell signed prints, and it was kind of just like, oh, if people want to buy a signed print, like I'll mail you one. And it's like I could not have predicted how like the demand, like just all over the world. Like this morning, like I sent some prints to like Germany and Australia and England, and it was like that is so cool to me. Like the fact that I buy prints from other artists still, that like people are doing that, with my
For
comics,
you.
like
Yeah.
yeah, really fulfilling. And I think that um yeah, They Can Talk is definitely a standout project for me. That was a really roundabout way of
No, it's fine. And
plugging
I
the
think
comics.
that and that's what I wanted to know. I mean, when I'm asking about past projects, of course you're super proud about what you've done literally since college, but I think like what you're in the midst of doing right now, you could claim as your favorite. So I'm
Yeah,
like, that's fine. It's considered past in a sense, right? Because you've already worked on it, right?
yeah,
So it still checks off the past work, even though it's still ongoing. But I think the beautiful thing about like the age that we're in right now of having social media, I think having your audience grow, never in a million years would you have thought that you'd be sending prints to all these different countries if it wasn't for just starting on your own website or starting on
yeah,
Instagram or starting wherever you take these places. I just think it's so wild that people know who you are without knowing who you are, you
yeah.
know? It's so
I
cool.
actually have a good little story as far as like doing the comic. My specific goal was like I want to have a book. Like I want to go into a bookstore and pull my book off of a shelf. So we were actually down at the Cape. My wife and I were on vacation. It was like our first vacation away, and like the whole time while we were dating, like we would always go to bookstores and like sit and read books. And I was like, one day I was like, give me 3 years and I'm gonna have a book on this shelf. So it was like 5 years later, but I was, it was in the range.
Still, the fact that you have a
But
book.
I didn't know that like my book was being carried at Barnes and Noble at the time, and I had pulled another book off the shelf, and I was like, why? I was like, how can this book be here and like my book isn't? And I was just like going off on a rant. I was just like pissed off about it, and I put the book back, and it was literally right next to my book, and I like lost my mind. I was like, it was so awesome and fulfilling, but I was like, it lasted like 10-15 minutes, and I was like, okay, on to the next goal.
You're so funny. You're like at this moment of being like so salty to this moment of elation that you'll never like achieve again. And then you're like, okay, I'm over it. Like, time to move on.
That's how everything will go in life. But thankfully I think that's what keeps me going, because I'm like, all right, next thing on the list. But
I would have bought that,
satisfying.
signed it, and then put it back in the shelf and been like, yeah, I'm just
that was a very specific goal that very happily, I'm very happy that I achieved it. But yeah, now it's on to, I want a TV show, like something else. But you know me, I'm like very, I'm usually overly confident. And it's funny talking about old projects because something Justin and I always talk about, like when we were first making videos, like on our YouTube channel, we were like, why doesn't someone give us a show? Like we deserve a TV show. And then we look back and we're like, oh my gosh, this stuff is so bad. It's
no
so
wonder
awful.
We didn't get a TV show. This shit's garbage. No, I'm just kidding.
I think that will continue to happen throughout life where, like, again, I can look back at early They Can Talk comics and I'm like, what, man, this one is awful.
You're like, why did anybody even like that post? That's, but I think that that's where it comes in, the fact that you're like saying that you're overly confident, and then you look at it and you're like, I was overly confident about those. And now you look at it, you're like, that was not even, but in that moment you were like super proud of it. So it's just like, just take it for what it is. Be like, no, I've definitely evolved and created like even better content.
I think looking back at stuff and cringing is like a good sign that you're growing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because if you were content with what you started with 4 years ago for the comic to now, there would be no evolution. You wouldn't have the audience you have. You wouldn't be sending prints out that are autographed.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, I'm just still sitting here plugging away. But you had mentioned that you had proposed a pilot to MTV. And I just wanted to kind of like tap in and figure out, because I've never had the exposure to ever have to do it. Like, what is that process like of being like, here, we have a product that we want to show you?
So that was at the time of like when our YouTube stuff was really blowing up, and like we had a bunch of viral videos. They were getting on TV. We like got a video on the Today Show, and like we were, while things were really popular, then we had like the door opened to make a TV pilot, and it was MTV2, like they like gave us the opportunity to make a pilot for them. And then it was a process of like, we wrote, different sketches for it and then pitched them to the producers. And then we filmed those sketches. Something that was actually cool is they like sent a crew up to our hometown, and we filmed, I think, almost all of it here. And then they like tested with audiences and stuff like that. And then we just wait to hear, like, are they going to option a series or not? And I think that's kind of the traditional way that a lot of shows get made, is a network will like buy a pilot, and then they'll just, from there, they'll decide like, are we going to, pay for a season or two? And we were really close, but it did get picked up. But again, that process, I think like we've gone through that a lot of times over the years, and now we're in the middle of it again, and we just have more projects this time around.
Yeah. But I think that you know what to set yourself up for and be like, okay, this is a proposal. Now you're not sitting here biting your nails off waiting for them to call. I mean, it's definitely a lengthy process and all that. So you don't have to like hype yourself up. You're used to like getting out there. But I think that the connections and the networks that you're reaching out to or, connected with are going to pay off. When you're like, sleeping in bed and then you get a text message, it's going to be like, I have so and so, like that's going to be the breaking moment. All the work that you've put in and you're like, we're going to wait on it, wait on it, wait on it, and then it's going to literally happen when you least expect it. You're like, wow, like that's how it all went down.
I like I mean, when we didn't have our pilot picked up, like the momentum we had building up to it, like it would have been very easy to, we kind of stopped making sketch videos then. It would have been easy to pull the plug on everything creative and be like, hey, it didn't work out. Like, I'll go get a day job. And, but I think that it just helped make better stuff and approach things a little differently. And it was like a learning process of understanding how these things work. But now working on a feature film, it's like totally different this time around too. Like, this whole learning curve is totally different, but I think all of it collectively is just helping, you know, make better things and hopefully increase my chances of, you know, getting something picked up at some point. But I mean, right now, I think like working for Illumination, it's like, it's awesome. I really can't complain. But again, I could be a scenario where I'm like, great, I have this gig. It's amazing. Like I can just kick back and, you know, ride this out. But I think that every step just makes me like want more or want something, you know, something to add to it.
I don't think at any stage of this process that you've been on, you've ever been too comfortable. And I think that's the nice thing. It's like, even though the excitement's built around this potential pickup of your pilot, all this stuff, you're never like, this is it. This is where we're going to stop.
That's the stressful thing about features and TV is that like there's always a huge unknown element where it's like, how many seasons is it going to be? You know, how long is pre-production going to be for this movie? And then like when is the next movie? So that stress never goes away, but just the nature of it.
Right. But you're willing to like take that on because you know what to expect at that point.
Yeah.
So cool. So do you have any advice on, you know, how to kind of get your foot in, like for anybody that might be watching this and is like, I'm in a similar situation as Jimmy, like in terms of like connecting with producers or anything, like, would you have any advice, you know, kind of how to get your name out there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like getting exposure yourself. Whether that's through a YouTube channel, whether that's through making content, posting it online. I know it's like the game has changed a little bit because everyone is doing it. Like it's super competitive, but the fact that you can market yourself from the comfort of your own home and your own phone, it's just so easy now that while I say that it's like super competitive and like everyone's doing it, at the same time, not a lot of people commit to like a creative project. You know, not a lot of people, it's weird. Like everyone's doing it, but at the same time, nobody's doing it. I think that if you have the motivation to do something yourself, it's like, this is really rambling, but basically, like it's up to you to get your own exposure. But it's easy to do it. It's easy to find out if it's worth pursuing or not, basically.
Yeah.
But like I said, the comic, it's like I draw one comic Sunday night once a week, and like it's led to all these different things. But it's just like I was able to continuously get exposure through the comic. So the videos that Justin and I were making, like the exposure from the videos led to a pilot deal with MTV. The exposure through my comics led to working for Illumination. So it's like, again, the end goal thing, it's not something I could always predict, but the process of getting there is like, the hope is that it will lead to something like that.
Yeah.
That sound like total bullshit. You're like, what are you talking about?
No, not at all. But I agree with you.
It's just like staying on people's radars, and then hopefully you get on the right person's radar. Otherwise, like how someone's not going to come knock on your door and be like, hey, we have this opportunity for you. It's like, you got to do it yourself.
Right. This is not Three's Company. It's not like, come and knock on my door.
Exactly.
Right. But I agree with you in the sense of like everybody's doing it. I think like everybody right now in the midst of like being in a pandemic has decided they want to start a podcast.
Sure.
Right. I'm at home. I have an opinion that needs to be put out there. I mean, me included. I did this for fun. And now this is literally a whole year later. This is episode 44.
It's crazy.
Right. And I started a year ago.
Yeah,
Like
I think
at
that
this
like
time.
whatever you commit to doing, as long as you find it fulfilling, it's like then do it. Like
Right.
don't do something hoping that it'll be successful if it's like a chore for you. Because then it won't matter. If it's like I was gonna do the comic regardless of how it went, because I was like, I like doing it. So it was excuse me, I don't know, maybe that's something that's our generation where it's like I should be able to make a living off of doing something that I find fun.
Right.
But,
And I definitely think that's a whole generational shift that we're like, we're not going to work for somebody in the hopes. I mean, you and I were just talking off camera. I had a very long career somewhere that I'm like, I could literally work here forever. And then it didn't end up happening. And then that's where I realized I was going through the motions because it was making me good money and because this is something that I felt I needed to do because I was making benefits and I had paid time off and a retirement plan. And then when that all came to a halt, I'm like,
when you pursue a creative project, that's all like a foreign language.
exactly. So I'm just
like money, what is that?
Yeah, you're like, I have no idea what that is. What's a 401k? I don't know. But to kind of like reinvent myself right now, like 3 months out, I'm like, wow, I do have health insurance. I do have a retirement plan, a life insurance plan. Why do I want to now jump back into getting into working for somebody where I could kind of recreate myself and doing what I'm passionate about? Yeah. And I think that a lot of people don't have that commitment like you're talking about. That's why I agree with you. It's like everybody can feel like they can do this. And I always joke, like, I'm going to be a YouTube sensation. Do I think I'm going to? No, but I joke about it. But I think people like have to be committed and determined to getting to the end goal. They're not just going to start this process and then hit it rich. Like it is a very lengthy process. You've literally have been making videos since the early 2000s. And to see all that you've accomplished, it's not like you struck it big and you're literally sitting in Miami in a mega mansion with 12 cars outside.
You don't know that.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I predict that you're only like an hour away from me right now, not even, but
you tell by the gloomy weather outside.
Yes, exactly. And then I have this like funky light hitting me and the exposure on my face is like awful, but I'm like, that's what you get for sitting next to a slider. No, but I think and to circle back, but I think really your consistency, your determination, your passion has gotten you where you are now. And you have mega projects that you're working on. Like you just haven't let these things die and like, all right, I'll go work a 9 to 5 and turn this into my hobby. You're like, this is my passion. I am going to exercise it. This is my career. So I applaud you on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're going to wrap this up because I know you're super busy. You've got things that you're in the midst of working on right now. So I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. But I just want to like circle all the way back to old Jimmy, like pre-tattoo Jimmy, college, hanging out. You were always a prankster at school.
Yeah.
Like, and so we
talked about shadows though. Like I would operate in the shadows. Yeah. Like I never had to same thing in high school. Like I never had to do a prank and like get credit for it. I just wanted to see the like results of it.
Yes. And like so when he says he was in the shadows, it's literally because he wouldn't leave his room till 11 p.m. every night. Like he only was nocturnal. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, you've had some funny pranks like back in the day. And one of them most notable that I literally still talk about to this day is the dorm that we had lived in sophomore year. And the kitchen was facing the main street. And Jimmy here decided that he wanted to take a fishing pole, which God knows, we're literally in Boston in the middle, like we're not even near a body of water. So why did you have a fishing pole? And you decided that you wanted to attach money on the hook. And when people were going to grab it on the sidewalk, you would reel it in.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so funny how like juvenile the pranks were, but it's like they're timeless. Like it's so funny
that we're sitting here at 35 and 36 years old, still laughing about what we did in like teens and early 20s. So I remember that we had a good amount of people because it was like Johnny, Michaela, Jimmy, and myself in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And it was just like probably like 4 or 5 doors down from my dorm room at this point. And one person in particular got so fired up that you were reeling this in that they started and they were a college student, keep in mind. They lived on campus. They started running like full speed towards the building.
Wait, first of all, like to set it up, it was like a $1 bill on the end of a fishing line that we pulled out onto the sidewalk. I remember like Michaela ran all the way outside to reset the $1 bill, and the person went to pick it up, and we reeled it in. I think the part that set this particular person off is we had a room packed full of people that all burst out laughing at this person just for trying to pick up a dollar, then yanking it away from them. And then when she came like sprinting after us, like come running the building, we all scattered like cockroaches, like she was going to like I don't know, like what were we thinking? Like she was
gonna know
or something.
I think there was only like you said, we kind of split up, but 3 of us had gone into my room. But of course, like that's the point. I can't remember if we had like a punch code or so. And I'm like frantically like trying to put it in. Like she wouldn't have made it in time for us, but we were just like the whole fact that we were like scrambling so we don't get caught. Like that was the funniest part. We're like, we can't.
With that fishing pole, another thing I remember is Pat and I would attach different things to the fishing pole and then cast it out the window and then reel it up along the side of the building because we were on the 4th floor. And like we'd put a note on it and then like slowly reel it up so people would see it go past their window. And I remember the like resident director, whatever his name was like walking outside and he like saw it and he yelled at us. And I remember Pat like reeling it in like he had a big fish and just watching this thing. Like we tied a ball, I think, to the end of it, just like watching it smack against the building as he reeled it up. It was so funny.
But those were the days, man. Yeah, I know, but like you said, it's super juvenile stuff.
Boredom led to good ideas, I think.
100%.
Or bad ideas, depending on how you think of it.
Yeah, boredom, procrastination of not wanting to do any work, you know, being with your friends 24/7 in this dorm room.
College is so weird.
Yeah.
Like, what is that like to be bored and like just hang out with friends all day? Like, what a strange life.
I totally wish we could go back to that because now we have like real lives with like real adult things to tackle. And we're like, oh, like, wow.
I have my favorite prank just came to mind.
Okay. I cannot wait to
pull one. I'll share this real quick. So this is back in the day of like like CDs where you burn CDs for your friends, burn your own mixes and stuff like that. And I remember in the like communal bathroom on our floor in the mornings, there'd be like tons of guys in there at every sink, like getting ready for classes in the morning. And there was a boombox in there that just played the radio in the morning. And I made a CD that had that song "I'm Blue" by Eiffel 65. And do you remember this prank?
Vaguely, as you're saying it, I'm like, I think I do. Yeah.
So I made like a mix, and it was like every 3 songs was like "I'm Blue," and then it'd be like other songs mixed in there. And then like a couple days later, I made like a CD that was just all that song, like just on repeat. And then every day, someone took the CD out. Then the next day, someone like broke the CD in half and then left it there. But it's like I had a spindle of CDs. Like I had remember they would come in like a stack of like 500 of them. So I was just like just burning them every day and just putting them in the boombox. So in the morning you would hear this song, this like techno song blasting on repeat, and it lasted like maybe a week, maybe a little over a week, where I kept just like putting these CDs in the boombox, and then again people were throwing them away or breaking them. And then one day I remember going outside. I think I was walking to Dunkin' Donuts with Johnny, and someone had thrown the boombox out the window. Like, and it like shattered on the like in the lawn. Which I was just
Not
like, that
mad.
was it was just so funny to me. Like that was so fulfilling to I drove someone mad with that song. Specifically that song makes it way funnier too. But yeah, that I think that was the standout prank in my head.
That was the point of climax where somebody was that
Yeah.
furious that they were like, screw this whole entire
No.
boombox. I'm gonna chuck it out the window.
It was smart though, because I had like probably like 200 CDs to go. So they did what they had to do.
Right. And now you guys just shower in silence at this point. You're like, well, you ruined it for all of us, sir. Do you ever remember Johnny's
I don't even know
funnel?
whose boombox it was or where it came from, but
Which makes it even better. But do you
It was a
remember
necessary
Johnny's funnel? That was like the community funnel that everybody shared and chugged beers out of, right? It somehow landed in our room, and this is like one of the funniest pranks that I've been a part of. And I would give Michaela all the credit. I just was a bystander. But in our room, we were on the 4th floor our junior year, and like she would literally take the end of the funnel and yell. So then on the funnel side, it projected out, and we would just harass people walking down the sidewalk at school. And you know, there was
remember
one
the
kid.
Michaela prank?
That was totally a Michaela prank.
No,
yeah.
The for when we pretended she was invisible. That was a prank that went too far.
I'm gonna have to get her on the show because I just interviewed Johnny and she was dying laughing, and we mentioned her a few times, and now
anyone who was there, I think that's probably the one, like the standout prank, like through all of college, because it was like it went so extreme. But to sum up for everyone else, it was just like everyone pretend that Michaela doesn't exist. But I remember like telling Chad, who's in the hallway, like for him to be in on it too. So when she like left the room, she passed someone in the hallway and they also were in on it, that it just like broke her brain. But anyways, simple prank that yeah,
and now she's still going to therapy for it.
Right. Yeah. I sound so evil in this.
No, but it's funny.
I did it and it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny stuff. I'm like, and she would still laugh about this because I know she will watch this interview and be like, first of all, I hate you guys. Secondly, I really truly love you because all of this happened. No, but
sorry, Michaela.
Yeah, we love you, Michaela, even though we were awful to you. No. And the fact is, Chad wasn't normally in on these pranks of our friend group.
That was the like that just put it over the top.
Yeah. And now she has PTSD.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But that's how I like found my little group of friends at college, was because I could do things like that and they would play along or also think it's funny. That was like the only prerequisite I had for who I would hang out with. I was like, I'm going to do these things. If you also enjoy them, like, cool, we'll be friends.
Then we're friends. We're best buds. I love it. Well, hopefully, Jimmy, I can see you in person one day because Rona is slowly and surely going away and I'm fully vaxxed, and nice. You know, I have a car that I can just drive up and come
halfway there.
Yes. Yeah. Do you remember one time I randomly just like was in your area and I'm like, dude, let's hang out. We just like drove to Dunkin' Donuts and then sat in your driveway having hot chocolate.
I don't
remember that. It was like a few years after, sorry, my phone's ringing. A few years after college, but I was just like, dude, I'm gonna come see you. We just literally sat drinking hot chocolate in your driveway.
Nice. Now I drink coffee like an old man.
Right. Well, we are old now, but those are like the type of friendships that you want to have. You're just like, you don't have to make a big deal out of it. Let's just like hang out.
Yeah.
Ever. So I just want to like hang out with you again soon. But in the meantime, if you would be ever so kind to drop all the social handles where we should find you and follow your work,
sure.
If you would, yes.
It's on Instagram. It's They Can Talk Comics, maybe.
Nope, it's just They Can Talk.
Search They Can Talk. Yeah. I think that on Instagram it's maybe They Can Talk Comics. On Facebook it's They Can Talk. I started a new comic on Instagram called Jimmy Tried, and it's kind of my outlet for non-pet stuff. Maybe slightly like darker, but yeah, I just different outlets I have to check me out on, and I post once a week on both, and those are where my comics are. And yeah, this has been cool.
No, this has been so much fun. And just
Like
want to
that
touch.
was the worst plug ever, like the most half-assed, like check it out if you want or don't.
Or
Whatever.
don't. Like, if you just want to scroll through this whole interview and not pay attention, that's cool. But I
Yeah,
will
they
say,
can talk.com also. It works. All of
so
my comics are on there.
you are obsessed with pets because Salem's in your lap. You've been on Secret Pet Life
Funny, I
Pets
don't even like
too.
cats.
Secret Life of Pets. What the hell? And they can talk. Like, you have a cat fascination, you weirdo cat
It's
lady.
funny because like I'm not a cat person, but
But
like
this,
writing that into my content, people like it. Like I usually paint cats as like the bad guys, and people are like, oh yeah, totally, that's funny. So
right. Yeah, because cats don't give a shit. They're going to knock everything off in plain sight and step on you and do whatever. They don't care.
specifically this cat.
Salem.
Yeah. Can you see her? She like disappears into the blackness of my sweatshirt.
Yeah, I can just like see
just
like
like
an
this
ear
boy.
poking up. Yeah.
Can we see her profile?
Yes.
She's
Hey, girl.
purring so loud right now. I wonder if you can hear it. Did you hear that? She just like tried to close out of the
She
window.
just tried to end this interview. She's like, get the hell off this camera. Well, dude, thank you so much. You can check him out if you want, but also not check him out, I guess, is what he's trying to get at. But make sure to go follow Jimmy at They Can Talk. Go like, subscribe, support.
Yeah.
Give him cat food in exchange, pay him however.
Cool.
That's
Thank
it,
you guys.
man.
Thanks for watching. It's been good catching up, Katie.
Likewise. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Jimmy.
Bye. See ya.